So I'm here with Rachel today, and Rachel is one of our account coordinators. Rachel, do you want to just start off by telling us what the account coordinator role is at EventConnect?
Yeah, for sure. So essentially what account coordinators do is we help prepare teams to get accommodated throughout America and Canada in hotels, whether it's bigger hotels, and we also accommodate smaller teams, whether it's individual registrations and players and athletes. We love to work with our team managers and our event owners directly. That does a lot for our team. It builds that relationship, and we always want to capitalize on that room growth and making sure that the teams are happy where they're placed and where they're accommodated.
Awesome. So you guys get to see a lot of customer service tickets that come in and working with those team managers, like you said, whether it's a team or a big club coming in. And so we've brought some of those in today to talk about how we do service them at EventConnect, because we always say every event is its own little thing. It has its own nuances. So I'm going to read some summaries and let's chat about how we were able to solve them here.
Of course.
So our first one here is we had a team that was in the Houston area, multiple venues, and we see that often. And the hotel where they were originally booked was at one venue, but they ended up playing it at another. And so we had to do a last-minute hotel change. Can you talk about how we service that on our side?
Yeah, for sure. So our account coordinators really specialize in last-minute changes, and we have to be prepared for any of those last-minute changes. Anything can happen with events. So that's something that we work with our hotels team on directly and with the event owner, and we try our best to find an alternative solution for those teams. It's sometimes difficult, but that's part of our job, and that's what we look forward to day in and day out. If it was the same thing every day, it would be a mundane job. So we do like having those curveballs, and like I said, we do work with our procurement team in finding those alternative options, and we work directly with those team managers. We see what the team is looking for, what they prefer, whether it's price range, amenities, room types, and of course, location in this scenario.
Awesome. And how do we work with those hotels? At the end of the day, it's a cancellation at one hotel to put business in another. How do we find hotels react to that?
I mean, it depends. A lot of the time, we do already have that great rapport with our hotels and our NSOs. So it really is that we are going to take this team and move them. However, we usually do have a solution for that hotel, whether it's washing back those rooms or working on our next event and having that not necessarily guaranteed room night pickup, but we do have that other alternative option for
and
them.
Sometimes we can slide another team in.
Exactly.
Awesome. So we had another team manager reach out on a Sunday, and we do have a team in on the weekend, which is awesome. But the real panic was that their blocks were expiring, and the seasonality of their sport, their rosters weren't completed quite yet. How do we handle that internally when we know that we're up against the clock with rosters and team block expiries?
Yeah, so that's something we work with event owners on directly, depending on the association that we work with. Majority of the time, event owners are very flexible with that scenario, just because we want to best accommodate these teams. We want to make sure that they are situated and they are taken care of and they do have something secure. So we will extend that, whether that's a day or two, just to allow for that event owner to give their response time back and have that input if we do decide we want to extend the block. We take into consideration teams that come year after year to the event. We want to best accommodate them in that sense as well, and definitely capitalize on that room pickup in that block itself.
Awesome. And on the flip side, we had another one reach out where someone forgot to register for an event. Again, we're coming up to that cutoff date, panicking. They've told their parents that they're going, and now we've forgotten to register. And usually that means we forgot hotels. How does that look when we're really encroaching on that event date starting?
Yeah, for sure. So registration, it really depends on the event itself. Again, majority of the time, event owners are very accommodating to that sort of thing. It does depend on how filled up the event is itself as well. In regards to getting them a hotel, we do have the option. We do have a partner that we work with, and there are those last minute changes that happen with teams, whether it's registrations or finding hotel options, and they have that choice to book through our third party partner. And It's definitely a time crunch and a time sensitive matter, which we always take into consideration. But we also want to emphasize on the customer experience and the team experience itself, not just staying at a hotel, but the entire booking experience as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's going to be other impacts to that, whether it's the schedule or
For sure.
a bunch of things like that too.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. And there's been times like our teams can interact with our booking feed in many different ways, and I don't think a lot of people realize that. There's in-block reservations and out-of-block reservations, so it's not uncommon that someone might reach out and saying, I know that all of my parents have booked their rooms, but they're not showing on our team dashboard. Can you walk us through what that looks like when we need to link reservations back into a team?
Yeah, for sure. So I think that's a huge benefit through our system as a whole, is that we do have that ability, and actually the customer themselves have that ability to assign their reservations to their designated team dashboard. That way, all of the reservations are showing up under one team. No one is panicking. They are associated and they will be placed in the generic area within the hotel to ensure they're all together. That team experience in events is very important. So we do want to make sure that these teams and these players are having that ability to stay all in one. So our support team, they really support these teams in adjusting their reservations. We have the ability through our system, which is very impactful, to easily go in, access those reservations, and their team will show up, and we easily assign it. We'll refresh that team dashboard, and we'll see all the reservations under one outlet, one spot. Yeah.
So I know that we probably all have our favorite customer service stories, some ones that we've touched and it's left an impact on us individually. While we end here, can you share one of your most favorite customer service moments that you've had working with the team manager?
Yeah, for sure. So one actually sticks out always to me, and I will always tell any new hires, I'll always emphasize this to people that aren't even in the industry. It was when I first started, I had this new team manager. She had, I think, 3 or 4 teams that she was managing, which is a lot. That's a lot to take on, and especially when you're a new team manager. And a volunteer, right. So essentially, I was on the phone with them for about an hour and a half, which is a little extensive, but they were lovely to work with, and I really didn't mind speaking with them, although it did take up a lot of my day. That is my job, right? At the end of the day, I want to help teams get accommodated where they need to be accommodated, where they want to be accommodated. And so I was on the phone with her, and she had that situation with the reservations, and she said, I know my parents have made these reservations, and there was about 80 of them. So I said, okay, how much time do you have? And she said, I'm free all day. And I said, all right, let's sit down. Let's go through these reservations. If I name out names, would you know which families are on which teams? She said, yep, I have a list in front of me. So I said, okay, perfect. So I said, let's start with John Doe. And she said, it'll be under the 16U team. And we went through 80 reservations back to back to back. And she finished the call and she said, where's your office? And I said, in London, Ontario. And she said, okay, because I want to send you an edible arrangement. You have taken so much of your day and you have helped me. And she's like, can I send you flowers or something? And I have never spoken with this lady before, and she was so lovely. And I just said, no, like, this is my job. This is what I love to do. This is what I want to do. If I wanted to be somewhere else, I would, but I don't. And she said, you are amazing. I'm gonna write a Google review. And that's really why I do what I do. And having that experience myself growing up in a team atmosphere, playing hockey, I know the importance of being all together and having that camaraderie and experience.
Perfect. Well, thanks for sharing.
Yeah, thank
Awesome.
you. Thank
Perfect.
you so much.